Welcome back to the morning show right here on the Rise News channel. The All Progressive Congress APC has berated former Vice President Atiku Abubakar over some of the utterances he made last week at the World Press Conference over President Bola Tinubu's certificate saga. In a statement last week, Thursday, the APC said the press conference lacked purpose and delivered nothing except the pitiful regurgitation of lies, mindless distortions, and deliberate falsehood and the infantile obsession with the academic record of Bola Tinubu and President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. However, the former Vice President and presidential candidate in the 2023 election says he will not back down from the Supreme Court until the Supreme Court delivers final judgment in the case. So joining us now is Michael Achimugu, Senior Media Assistant to Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo, to talk about these things, SAM. Michael Achimugu, just for full disclosure, you were the one that released an audio recording with a conversation you had with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar leading up to the election. So I see that you're working for Festus Keyamo now. So, I mean, what's your reaction to all of this matter?
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir. Yeah.
It's nice to speak with you.
Bless you.
Yes. Yeah, for disclosure, yes, I was the author of the Atiku Gate saga. I was a former media aide to the former vice president. And yes, I now work with Festus Keyamo in the capacity that you have announced. I have always looked at this Chicago State University thing from just two perspectives. You know, the first is that the only authority that can verify the president's studentship and graduation from that institution is CSU itself and nobody else. I want to believe that that is why the journalists and the former vice president himself wrote to the school, because only they can tell, you know. And the second perspective is, what is the scope of the petition before the Supreme Court now? How will the Supreme Court interpret what is the evidence before them? You see, in these two scenarios, public opinion doesn't really matter much, and that is why, as an individual, I haven't really said much about it, because if you recall, the judge in the US did mention, you know, that they have received emails from Nigeria, but reiterated that rulings and judgments will not be based, you know, on public opinion. And the Chief Justice of Nigeria also said the same thing as well, you know. So from those perspectives, I don't really have much of a personal opinion, because the courts will have to decide. Now, my only problem in all of these issues is that it is a man who does not have the moral high ground that is chasing after the president. And I am even more shocked by the persons who now come out to support and help Atiku Abubakar, you know, in trying to get at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because nobody can convince, there's no logic that makes it okay if you say you are anti-corruption and then you are helping a man like Atiku Abubakar, the same Atiku that I know. Look, on what basis will anybody be helping Atiku Abubakar? If we talk about, if you say that you are writing the FBI to give you, you know, information about Tinubu, do you forget that Atiku also has a file with the FBI? If you talk about the fact that Tinubu had an account, a bank account flagged in the US, do you also forget that Atiku also had bank account with even much more money flagged in the US as well? So on what basis will anybody come out to say we are working with Atiku to arrive at this thing? So suddenly Atiku's antecedents and corruption does not matter anymore?
Mr. Achimugu, thank you. So I don't know, maybe you'd like to clarify who said they were working with Atiku if this was everything around this certificate saga is around working with Atiku, Abubakar Atiku. Be interesting to find out, because that's not the issue. You're deviating from the main substance of the issue, which is there a case of forgery, which now the Atiku camp has filed a case before the Supreme Court. So is that what you're here to speak about? The case before the Supreme Court, which, I mean, we cannot talk about the details.
You can't say I'm deviating. The question was my thought about all of these issues? That's the question thrown at me.
Yeah,
and
so
these are my thoughts about the issue.
All right, so the issue is about the certificate, right? So you've established your views on the person of Atiku Abubakar, and it's important to be careful as well because we don't want to, get into trouble for libel or if you make a slanderous statement. But what's your take in terms of the way forward? So it's before the Supreme Court. What's the process? I'm sure you understand the processes of the court. We cannot deliberate on the matter itself. So I would like to get your thoughts.
I have stated clearly that I have just two perspectives. The school has come out to say this person attended our school and graduated from our school. The next step is the Supreme Court, of which I am not a justice or a member or even a lawyer. So we wait for what the Supreme Court has to say about that. It is not my duty to preempt the court.
Okay, Achimugu, I admire your capacity for self-reinvention. The other time you were on this program, you were attacking Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and now somehow you've landed a good job with the Minister of Aviation, and you are now, defending the APC. Good effort at self-reinvention, typically Nigerian. But, don't let's, as you have said, let's allow the Supreme Court to do its work. But I'd like to draw your attention to something that Paul Ibe, media advisor to Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and Frank Shaibu, also, media advisor to the PDP presidential candidate. They're saying that there has been a quick attempt to amend President Tinubu's Wikipedia page to align with his NYSC certificate, which is one of the issues that the PDP camp is raising. And this is with regard to the fact that in his NYSC certificate, the area is Adekunle, but we've always known him as Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now on his Wikipedia page, we now have Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu. How did this come about? Is it some mischief makers adding Adekunle to the name? Or, how did that come about? Because that happened in less than 24 hours after an issue was raised about his NYSC certificate. Do you have any information in that regard?
I have never viewed the president's Wikipedia page, so I wouldn't know what's going on there. But Dr. Abati, to make a quick correction, I have never been on your program before.
Oh,
when
okay.
the Atiku Gate saga was going on, this channel never gave me an opportunity a right of reply. You gave your platform to people to come and defame my character. I have never been on your channel before.
Okay. But could you address the issue about name? I didn't say you manage the president's Wikipedia page. Do you have any information about, this controversy about whether it's also an Adekunle in addition to Ahmed? Because that's one issue that the PDP camp, is making in the papers today.
Like I said, I have no information about that. I've also been told by tech people that Wikipedia pages can be edited by a number of persons. Does not mean that the president himself has ordered any such thing. But I also remember that in the case of in 2019 at the Supreme Court of between President Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, that when the issue of discrepancy in name between Muhammad and Muhammadu came up, the Supreme Court did leave some precedents in that regard. So like I said, I do not have enough information to be an authority, with regards to drawing conclusions about this matter. And it's a case that's in court. Yourself last week, Dr. Abati, did say a number of things, and you ended up by educating the rest of Nigeria that nothing is going to happen at the end of the day because there are no smoking guns from the case in Chicago. In any case, from a very personal perspective, and general too, if you will, Atiku Abubakar did not win the election. What's he even doing in court? Okay.
He's in court because he has a right to go to court like any other citizen of the country. And concerning that allusion last week to what Dr. Abati said, it is based on what came out of the deposition that Atiku is now in court. So the analogy of no smoking gun, obviously, the deposition has overruled all of that. The full text, certified text.
No, he said that.
Hang on a minute. Let me finish.
The deposition came out.
Hang on a minute.
That was his analysis.
Hang on a minute. Let me finish. But the certified copy of the deposition, the full copy, was not out when he said that. The full copy of the deposition has overruled that. I'm giving you facts. Go and verify. Your boss, Festus Keyamo, said these words on the 15th of April 2019. Forgery occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or denies its authenticity. WAEC has confirmed the authenticity of PMB certificate by issuing an attestation of it. Case closed. In hashtag Osun case scenario, WAEC has denied the authenticity. See the difference. Did your boss make that statement, and would you still stand back with that statement based on what is happening? Because what your boss, Keyamo, was saying here is that when the supposed author of the document denies ever making the document, that's when forgery occurs, according to your boss's definition. Do you stand by that argument?
I was not a media aide. I was not a media aide to the aviation minister in 2019.
But you speak for him now. I'm just asking you, based on the tweet, do you stand by that statement, your boss? Because Twitter doesn't lie. Internet has records. That's the record out there for you. Do you stand by that statement? Your boss tweeted it as an idea out there. You speak for him now.
If in 2019 he spoke from a legal perspective, I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't his media aide then. I cannot speak about anything that happened in 2019.
Okay, so he spoke from a legal perspective, and he was correct in the legal perspective that he spoke, right? Or you want to say your boss is wrong now?
I am not a lawyer.
No, but he was correct from what he said. Or you want to say your boss is wrong?
I have. First of all, Mr. Rufai, I have not seen the tweet to which you refer.
I'll catch it out for you.
I wasn't working with Keyamo in 2019.
I'll catch it out for you. You can go and check. It's 15/4/2019. And I read it out for you, and it's circulating everywhere. So are you saying your boss was wrong, what he said in 2019, as regards the Osun case scenario?
If he spoke, I do not understand the context in which he spoke in 2019.
The Osun case scenario.
However,
Osun case scenario.
When you want to, if you want to, juxtapose with what's going on at the moment, you also you are speaking as though forgery has been established by the court.
No, I'm not speaking as no.
If you spoke about forgery,
Achimugu, you're having ideas. Obviously, I'm not juxtaposing with anything happening now. If I wanted to juxtapose, Achimugu, I will set a precedence and I'll ask you a question based on what is happening now. I didn't juxtapose. I just want to affirm, like your boss said, that forgery occurs. Hang on a minute, let me finish. Let me finish. Achimugu, let me finish. I just want to affirm, and I just want you to look at it. Like your boss said, that forgery occurs when the issuing house or those that issued the document said they did not issue it. So, are you saying your boss is lying, or you're saying your boss spoke from a legal point of view and it was correct? Yes or no? That's just all I'm asking.
I am saying that I have not seen the tweet you are speaking about.
Okay, it's all right.
I do not understand the context in which he spoke at the time.
All right, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Achimugu. Now, in terms of the next steps by the APC, since the Atiku Abubakar has filed, what are the next steps from the APC? We hear you, and the APC has berated his world press conference. Now he's gone to court. What would be the response from the APC? What's the general reaction from the APC?
Well, just like Atiku Abubakar has the constitutional right and duty to go to court, the APC also has a duty to respect the courts. And the next step is to wait for, the judgment from the Supreme Court. However, between now and when judgment will be delivered, our duty will be to counter every false information and narrative that's been put out there by opposition. It's normal what opposition is doing. Their job is to oppose. However, opposition must also be done, from a perspective of responsibility and fact and truth. I am here to counter every false narrative being put out by false news merchants, online, especially the PDP people.
Okay, let me assist you in one regard. Your boss, Festus Keyamo, that was just referred to, he has put a statement out there that the onus is on Waziri Atiku, Abubakar, and the PDP to prove that the issuing authority, has disowned the certificate that is in question. Because, as he pointed out, he who alleges must prove, which is a trite principle in law. And that's why the matter is now before the Supreme Court. I'm sure the Supreme Court, will listen to all the addresses and the responses and then take a decision in line with substantive law and their own procedures. However, the major issue with your boss is a case reported in Nigerian weekly law reports. I'm sure you say, well, you may not have read any weekly law report. But that case is Festus Keyamo versus House of Assembly, Lagos State, a 2002 case, in which Festus Keyamo was an appellant. And the main issue in that case was that your boss, Festus Keyamo, was in fact challenging his current principal's qualifications. And the question that is being asked is that at what point did he change his mind about President Tinubu's qualifications? Have you ever heard about this? That at some point, Keyamo, took that case to court. The same subject
Yes,
that everybody
I have heard about that.
Yes.
Yes, I have heard about that.
What do you have to say in his defense?
Just like in my case with my former principal, Atiku Abubakar, as well, you see, people are open to changing their perspective about issues, when new information becomes available. Keyamo himself has answered this question on several occasions. He did say that due to information available to him at a time, he went to court, But during the process, new information came to him and he realized that, perspective wasn't reality. And it's even the reason why that case came to nothing in the first place. And he was bold enough, Keyamo was bold enough, to admit that, errors had been made. He didn't have the full picture at the time he took the case to court. And now he has the full picture. A man has the right to change his mind. It is only people who are not honest and proactive that take a position and refuse to shift even when new information becomes available. And I don't think that's the right way for anybody to go.
Well, thank you very much, Michael Achimugu, for joining us on the morning show. And be sure, when next you have something to say, this platform is open, okay? We don't discriminate. It's an open platform to hear all sides of the story and to be fair and balanced. Thank you very much for joining us.